This is James Kalm, and we're coming to you from the East Greenpoint neighborhood of Williamsburg, and with the Janet Kurnatowski Gallery for the opening of an exhibition called Corpse of Time, curated by Ben LaRocca. Let's take a look and see what they're up to. Talking with the curator, Ben LaRocca. Why don't you give us a little guided tour of some of the paintings here and tell us about the artist and your idea for the show.
My idea for the show? Well, this was my idea for the show. My idea for the show is that I pick the artist and then I write an essay where I don't describe any of the artists. And I see if the two complement one another. That's my idea. This is Dorothea Rockburne's piece.
Why don't you tell us about this one?
Tell you about it?
Yeah, Dorothea Rockburne's piece.
You want it? It's blue. There's some blue in the corners. Here in the center you see some red. There's some white here. And some more white down there.
All right, what does it all mean?
What does it mean?
Yeah, what does it mean?
What does it mean? That's $1 million question, isn't it?
You can see Ben LaRocca is also the...
What to me it means painting is brilliantly alive.
Okay. And is also a insightful critic and editor for the Brooklyn Rail. How about some of the other pieces in the show?
That's Linda Francis's work down there.
Back behind that mob of people, huh?
The crowd.
So you say you're actually also writing little essays about each one of the pieces?
Well, I didn't write about the pieces. I did write an essay to complement the show.
Oh, you wrote an essay to complement the show? Okay.
Yeah, I wanted to see if the two would be mutually complementary. No descriptive writing. I'm not into that, man. You know that.
We're speaking with Ben LaRocca. Thanks, Ben.
Thanks for having me.
I'm going to go up and mingle with the crowd.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks. Wow, it's a real mob scene out here on a Friday night. We'll have to come back and take a look at the paintings when it's a little quieter. Okay, well, we're here again with... who the hell are you anyway? Ben LaRocca. We're here with Ben LaRocca at his exhibition, Corpse of Time. And
exhibition I curated.
The exhibition that you curated, that's correct. We were here last week, but it was such a crowded mob scene that I couldn't really have a chance to discuss this with you. Why don't you give us a little guided tour, give us sort of point out some of the paintings, and you can also talk to us a little bit about what your idea is for curating the show.
Okay. And the idea of the show, and I guess the explanation for the title, which a lot of people have asked about, had to do with doing...
The title is Corpse of Time?
Corpse of Time, yeah. Had to do with doing away with the notion of time as linked to progress. And the way I thought I might do that is by showing how work by artists from disparate generations, so work spanning almost a century in terms of the careers of the artists who made it, dealt with the same subjects, essentially, the same ideas. And I thought that there was something about that might show time in art to be somehow contrary to time as we experience it in our daily lives. The work by Dorothea Rockburne, who has certainly had the longest career in the show.
Not to pry, but how old is Dorothea?
Well, I don't know if she'd want me putting that on YouTube, but I'll tell you that her career began certainly in the 70s. She came to prominence. And this work was made in 93, so it's a much more recent piece.
And this is oil on canvas?
No, this is a particular type of acrylic on board. A very particular type. She's very particular about the materials she uses. And this is, I think, somewhat unlike the work, at least superficially unlike the work for which she became known in her early career.
How about this piece down here in the
That's Linda Francis's piece called Two Hexagons. I should have mentioned that Dorothea's piece is called Gravity Waves, so you'll probably see a theme emerging in terms of the titles.
Okay.
Two Hexagons. And Linda's work all has to do with physics and science. She thinks of her work, and I think of her work, I hope I do justice to her thoughts on it, but I think of her work as meant to expose basic principles in nature, so that in a way it's a sort of realism, actually.
Let's take a look at Carol's piece in here, the light piece. Now, I just did a report on her one-person show at Dam and Stuhlträger about 2 weeks ago. So this is actually kind of nice to see an individual piece. I guess these are two pieces, right?
Yeah, they are, but I think she sees them as modular in a way, so that they can be seen as a set. I know she often does installations in which all the pieces interrelate. So this is Morgan Croney's piece, and he is the youngest.
Morgan Croney?
Right, the youngest artist in the show. Morgan trained as an economist before he committed himself to art, or he had himself committed. And his work develops in a fascinating way. So he creates the plane, the flat plane, which is the white you see of these three-dimensional surfaces, and then he inscribes the mathematics of the piece, how the piece is to be built on the white plane, and he builds it from that same white plane. So you're seeing the equations that generate the form of the work.
So in certain ways, let's take a look at this piece by Don Voisine. So this is oil on wood.
It is.
And Don is probably one of the best known of the Williamsburg geometrical abstract painters. He's been around and been involved in the neighborhood for decades now. And he's just started to get some major attention and is showing at some interesting galleries in Chelsea and up in Massachusetts, right?
Yeah.
So this is a good example of his kind of series of pieces with the black squares in the center. He is quite a wonderful craftsman. He spends a lot of time polishing these, getting the paint surface just exactly the way he wants to. And actually some of the very subtle tonal changes and shifts between the matte and the shiny on the inside remind me of maybe an Ad Reinhardt.
Even color, this central rectangle is a more red rectangle than the bordering there.
Let's look at Patrick Armstrong's piece now.
I like these as a counterpoint to Don's work because of the roughness of these surfaces, the care and the finishing in Don's work. But yet there's something similar about them because of their attention to surface in both cases. Patrick's also one of the younger artists in the show, from Alabama originally.
Why don't we talk about this piece that's running along the baseboard here. This is by Stephen Keister.
Yeah. Steve spends a lot of time in Mexico studying Aztec, Mayan, I believe, form.
And this runs all the way around the gallery. And now let's wrap up with Chuck Webster. This is a very compelling piece. I like this.
Yeah, it's a beautiful piece.
This is oil on wood.
It is, yeah, oil on panel.
40 by 52 inches.
Yeah. Chuck pulls his ideas for form from all over the place. Everything from Venetian glass, I believe, to shaker furniture.
This is James Kalm reporting from Gallery Janet Kurnatowski and The Corpse of Time, curated by Ben LaRocca. Thanks, Kate.
Rocco.
Rocco?
There you go.